Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Radha Vinobihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupan Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vinobihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai, Harinam Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas.
Okay. So, wow, Sudevi helped to manage to make that possible. It was very, very tight timing.
They might not know what you're talking about.
Oh, we just... Anyhow, we were on that 55-hour... what is it called? The glorification of Srila Gurudev for 7 minutes. So, okay, we're going to begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book. Shri Gauriya Giti Guccha, Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam. And let's see if Jiva Pavana Prabhu is there. 1 second, I have to turn down the volume again. Okay, so Jiva Pavana Prabhu has already posted it. Dandavat Pranam al Vaishnavas. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavāṅśta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitangham Sajivam Sarvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahamana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vikashta Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Odarya Madhurya Gunaishcha Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Nārayanam Tam Shirasham Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanincha Shri Krishna Balajumitayka Vrinde Chaitanya Lila Vrita Sarasaram Nārayanam Tam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaurapresthaya Bhutale Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyānam Keshava Yutti Namine Ativakyacharithraya Swashritanachapaline Jiva Dukhe Sadarataya Shri Nama Prema Dharine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Siddhanto Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhanami Devi दयिताय कृपाभये कृष्णसम्बन्धविज्ञान दयिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वलप्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदां श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणि श्रीमूर्तये दिनकारिणे रूपानुगतिरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् नैराज्ञमूर्तये विप्रलम्भरसम्बोधे पदं जायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगम्बराय ते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रियं वैष्णवः सर्वभौम श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्तो राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरधूपङ्गो मम मन्दं गतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदं भोजं राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमद श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठानिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमद्रसरसारम्भो वंशीवत्ततस्थितः कार्षन्तेनुस्वरैर्गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रीयेस्तु नः वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवन्ते नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावनूजीवनम् आनन्दपुरिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनं हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामेव केवलं हरो नास्त्येव 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 गतिरन्यथा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे दंडवत प्रणाम और वैष्णव I was sorry that Sudevi didn't receive an opportunity to speak on that forum, and I kind of just rushed it because everything got delayed. Maybe I'll share something more detailed in this forum. जय जय श्री गुरु प्रेम कल्पतरु। Page 29 by Vaishnav Das. Jayo Jai Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru Jayo Jai Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru Jayo Jai Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru Jayo Jayo Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru Adbhuta Jako Adbhuto Jako Parukash Iya Yogeya Timiro Goro Gyan Iya Yogeya Timiro Suchandra Kirane Karuna Suchandra Kirane Karuna Ihalochan Anandodha Ihalochan Moheno Patito Herijo Bahu Yajachito Moheno Patito Herijo Bahu Jachi Deolo Harina Chachi Deyalo Harina Duramati Agati Satato Yashati Mati Duramati Agati Satato Yashati Mati की जय, श्री गुरु परंपरा की जय। संसार दावान ललितलोक त्रना कारुण्य घनाघनत्वम। Where is, oh, it's page 265, I believe. Nope, just before that. Page 255. 255 in the songbook. If you do not have the bhajan book, then scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu, and there you will be rewarded with the bhajan along with translation and followed by beautiful commentaries of our acharyas. 255, sorry. 255. Sang संसारदावानलनिधलोका त्रणाय कारुण्य घनाघनत्वं संसारदावानलनिधलोका त्रणाय कारुण्य घनाघनत्वं प्राप्तस्य कल्याणो गुणार्णवस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् प्राप्तस्य कल्याणो गुरुणार्णवस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् महाप्रभो कीर्तन नृत्य गीत पादित्रमाद्यं मनसोरसेन महाप्रभु कीर्तन नृत्य गीत पादित्रमाद्यं मनसोरसेन रोमाञ्चकं पाश्रुतरङ्गभाजो वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् रोमाञ्चकं पाश्रुतरङ्गभाजो वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् श्रीविग्रहारा धननित्यनाना शृङ्गारतन्मन्दिरमार्जनादो श्रीविग्रहाराधन्यनित्यनाना शृङ्गारतन्मन्दिरमार्जनादो युक्तस्य भक्तांश्चनियुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् युक्तस्य भक्तांश्चनियुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् चतुर्विधा श्री भगवत्प्रसादो स्वाध्वन्नत्वेतान् हरिभक्तसङ्घान् चतुर्विधा श्री भगवत्प्रसादो स्वाध्वन्नत्वेतान् हरिभक्तसङ्घान् कृत्वैव तृप्तिं भजतः सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् कृत्वैव तृप्तिं भजतः सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपारो माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाना श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपारो माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाना प्रतीक्षणास्वाधन्नलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् प्रतीक्षणास्वादन्दलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् निकुञ्जयोनोरतिकेलिसेध्यै ययालिभिर्वृत्तिरपेक्षणीया न्यायादिभिरुपेरपेक्षणीया तत्राति दक्ष्यादति वल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् तत्राति दक्ष्यादति वल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् साक्षात् हरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रे उक्तस्तथा भाव्यत एव सद्भिः साक्षात् हरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रे उक्तस्तथा भाव्यत एव सद्भिः किन्तु प्रभुर्य प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् किन्तु प्रभुर्य प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादान् नवति कुतोऽपि यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादान् नवति कुतोऽपि ध्यायंस्तुवंस्तस्य यस्य श्रीसन्ध्यम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् ध्यायंस्तुवंस्तस्य यस्य श्रीसन्ध्यम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् 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 गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद श्रील गुरुदेव की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय दंडवत प्रणाम all Vaishnavas. Excuse me, I have to adjust the settings here, the setup. It's a little bit confusing for me. One second. Technical stuff. So this Ashtakam we just sung, Śrī Guruvāṣṭakam. This is written by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And Śrīla Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is no ordinary personality. Śrīla Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is known as Rasik Shiromani. It means the crest jewel of Rasik Vaishnavas. Our Srila Gurudev Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja spoke at Radha Gokulananda Mandir that Rupa Goswami came and established what Mahaprabhu wanted to give. What did he want to awaken? This Parakiya Ras, Parakiya Bhav. He established this as the supreme topmost rasa. As we chant in that bhajan, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan. Jayo Jayo Jwala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sar, Parakiya Bhave Jaha Brajete Prachar. Parakiya Bhav, the mood of Parakiya, this Bhav, this is what they are preaching. What those who are residents of Vrindavan, our Goswamis, this means real Goswamis, who controls their senses, not those who are completely without any sense of self-control. That's not a real Goswami, that's the last name. Goswami means who is a master of their senses. Why? Because they have completely surrendered themselves. 24 hours, everything in the transcendental loving service of Krishna. This is the definition of Goswami. So, they are 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, and so many of our Guru Varga who are not different from them in terms of their character, quality, and natures, and their practice. These personalities, they are preaching what Rupa Goswami came to give. After some time from the departure from our vision of Srila Rupa Goswami in this world, then again Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur manifested and re-established this Parakiya Bhav, Parakiya Ras as the supreme topmost. Again, after some time, it became lost again. And then our Srila Gurudev admitted, he said, now I have come to do this. And even today we were listening to different Vaishnavas speak and glorify Gurudev. And they admitted that so many different groups were accusing the Gaudiya Vaishnavas of being dry, that there's no rasa there. No ras meaning only speaking about foundational things, but not speaking about Krishna or the pastimes of Krishna. But our Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja changed that. He showed the world that ras is fully present within this Gaudiya Vaishnava line, this Bhakti Vinod Dhara, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Dhara, that this rasa is present within there. And he opened the floodgates of this rasa. When I was chanting this Ashtakam, today I was remembering, I was reading one beautiful lecture of our Srila Gurudev, which was entitled, How Deep is the Mountain? And he was actually glorifying our Srila A.C. Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada. And this was one of his main things to do as he was traveling around the world. For he acknowledged implicitly and explicitly that without the mercy and the foundation that our Srila Prabhupada had established, who would be able to travel around the world and preach? He was quite amazed to see that there were devotees in every corner of the world, people who were inspired and wanting to develop Krishna Bhakti Rasa. Our Srila Gurudev was quite amazed to see it, and very impressed also with the dedication. Even after so many years of maybe being or feeling dry, so many were still holding on to the ideal, just waiting for that rainfall coming in the constellation of Swati Nakshatra, like the chatak birds, just waiting for that water to rain again so they can drink. And our Gurudev said that he was going to waterize, to water. How? Shravan and Kirtan, to give us something to hear. What really will water the creeper of bhakti within our hearts? Shravan Kirtana Jale Koriye Sechan. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita states, Shravana Kirtana Jale. Shravan and Kirtan are the water which nourishes our bhakti lata, the creeper of bhakti in our hearts. Shravan means to hear. To hear what? It's okay to hear that we're not our body, but that won't increase within our hearts a greed for Krishna Bhakti Ras. You're not your body. That's not Krishna Katha. It's just not. Be a vegetarian. That's not Krishna Katha. Do good in this world. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal. None of that is Krishna Katha. Reincarnation. That's not Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha means the glories of the sweet pastimes of Krishna in relationship with his devotees. Hearing about that will awaken a desire in our heart to serve Krishna, because we're hearing about that person, Krishna. So Shravan and Kirtan are two things. Shravan means hearing and Kirtan means repeating. It doesn't only mean singing. It means repeating what we've heard from the mouth of the pure devotee. And if we're just singing but not singing with the mood that we have heard from the pure devotee, which means I am singing for the pleasure of Krishna. I am chanting the names of Krishna for the pleasure of Krishna. If it is not for Krishna's pleasure, happiness, or benefit, then it cannot be considered bhakti. And our Srila Gurudev said, if we're just doing that but not making an endeavor to go deep, we can do it for millions of lifetimes. So what is Sri Guru giving? What did our Gurudev do? He went from place to place to place. And he's so full of Krishna Bhakti Ras, when he would open his mouth, it would pour out like a torrent, like Sudevi said yesterday, a tsunami. It would pour out. He could not help himself but to speak about the sweet pastimes of Krishna, whether baby Krishna, Sakha Krishna, or Gopinath Krishna, Radha Kanta Krishna. In any situation, always speaking about the sweet pastimes of Krishna. And in fact, he realized and recognized that our Purva Acharyas, our previous Acharyas, spent so much energy cutting jungles, uprooting so many weeds of Mayavad, Sahajya, all kinds of Apasiddhanta, all kinds of Aparad, uprooting all of these weeds. And so he decided that I will spend my time giving what they wanted to give. What Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada wanted to give. What our Srila Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada also wanted to give. Our Srila Prabhupada spoke to him personally and requested him, help my disciples. So our Gurudev would go around the world glorifying our Srila Prabhupada. That he has not just come to give the Yuga Dharma. He has not just come to tell us that we're not our bodies. But what did he come to give us? Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine. This our Srila Gurudev spoke again and again and again. What is Gauravani? It doesn't just mean the words of Gauranga. Gurudev would always instruct us. When he would ask that question, what is Gauravani? He only wanted to hear one verse. And that was the verse from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Anyone who knows that verse and can post at least the first word or the first two words of that verse in Sanskrit, you will get a bowl of gulab jamuns and a bowl of rasagullas. The last line says, this is the opinion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and there is nothing beyond it. What is that? The supreme, topmost worshipful object, worshipful personality, worshipful form of God, Bhagavan, is none other than Brajeshatanai, the dearmost darling son of the king of Braj. That is the son of Nanda Baba, Brajendra Nandan, Krishna. And because he resides in Vrindavan, the topmost worshipful place where his pastimes are all being performed. That is Vrindavan. The topmost form of worship, the method which is the most pleasing to him, which he says, even I cannot repay you, even in a lifetime of Lord Brahma, I cannot repay you for your love and affection. This is greater than anything I know. And he becomes subservient to that. That is the upasana, or the way that the gopis worship Krishna. Brajabadhu means the young married gopis of Vrindavan. Sudevi, how come there's an R there? Oh. That is the method of the upasana, the worship that the gopis have performed for Krishna. And where is the proof of this? In the topmost transcendental scripture, the ripened fruit of all Vedic literature, Nigamakalpatarod Galitam Phalam, that ripened fruit, which has been made even more sweet by being touched or represented by the personal servant, parrot of Srimati Radhika, Shri Shuka. Shukamakad Amrita Drava Samyutam. That is Śrīmad Bhagavatam. That's where that spotless evidence is. Amala, completely pure and transcendental. There is no mal in there. There is no impurity. Nothing to reject. Our Guru Varga would say, like a mango, with no skin, no seed, just sweet and juicy, through and through, nothing to discard. This is how they compare Śrīmad Bhagavatam. That is the topmost spotless evidence. And also in Bhagavatam, there it is declaring very boldly, what is the topmost aspiration, hope, and goal? What is the most pleasing to Krishna? Spontaneous, transcendental love of the highest caliber. Prema, Pubarto Mahan. There you go. Oh, Devaki Priya got the last line, and Keshava Priya got the first two words. Very good. Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas Tadham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Brajabadu Vargena Yakalpita Śrīmad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumarto Mahan Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatradaro Napparaha. This is the opinion of Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and there is nothing beyond it. And our Srila Gurudev again and again said, this is Gauravani, and this is what our Srila Prabhupada came to give. He said there are so many glories of our Srila Prabhupada, but he wanted to establish what his greatest glory is, that he is a true Rupanuga Vaishnava. Every single place he went, he would always start his Mangala Charan, glorifying his Gurudev, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja, and his Shiksha Guru Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja, our Srila Prabhupada. The same. And he would glorify him in such a way that his topmost glory is that he is an eternal associate of Shri Radha and Krishna in the Nikunjas of Vrindavan, serving Kunja Bihari and Radha Madhav. In other words, he's saying about our Srila Prabhupada, and this is essential and important, because from this point he was establishing what is Rupanuga, what our Rupanuga Vaishnavas have come to give. And so again and again and again he preached this point and drilled it into us that we should have no doubt. He spoke in 1992 to a group of about 200 devotees at ISKCON Juhu in Mumbai. Swastika, are you there? He was there speaking to about 200 devotees, and he was saying that the highest conception of our Srila Prabhupada, that personality who brought the message of Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu around the world, who is a true Rupanuga, is that he is in Madhurya Ras. Within Madhurya Ras, also Sakya is there. Also Vatsalya is there. Fully, completely. It's fully there. And so sometimes those moods also manifest. He said, it pains my heart. Gurudev said, it pains my heart to hear that he's only in Sakya Ras. Our Srila Prabhupada distributed the moods and the teachings of the love of the gopis for Krishna all over the world. You can see it plainly in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in Krishna book, and every day chanting Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari. So this Krishna consciousness movement is how to become one of the Gopi Jan. So our Srila Gurudev was following in his footsteps. Everywhere he went, paying his pranam in the dust of those places. Wherever our Srila Prabhupada placed his lotus feet, begging his mercy, and then continuing with what our Gurudev said. He would be giving now, after all of these years. Of course he would be giving Ujjvala Nilamani. He would be giving all of these different Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, and all of these different transcendental scriptures. Our Srila Prabhupada was busy day and night translating and giving. He gave Bhagavatam, he gave Bhagavad Gita, he gave Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Upadeshamrita. He would have given Manashiksha and so many other granthas as he was doing. And you see, all of our acharyas are busy day and night trying to present all of these granthas, these shastras to this world for our benefit. So our Gurudev was utilizing this particular ashtakam. Śrī Radhika Madhava Yorapara Madhurya Lila Gunarupa Namnam Pratikshana Svadhana Lolupasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. That at every moment Shri Gurudev is experiencing Lolupasya, intense greed for serving Radha Madhava. Śrī Radhika Madhava Yorapara. So serving their names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. And then Shri Guru is expert in assisting the gopis, in making arrangements for the perfection of Radha and Krishna's transcendental Nikunja pastimes. Rati Keli Siddhyai. The topmost perfected pastimes. This is not for cowherd boys. This is not for Mother Yashoda or Vatsalya. This is for the mood of the gopis. And this, our Srila Gurudev, from that point, from day one, from the first, from before, even from long time before he started traveling to the West, he has been completely consistent with his statements. He never wavered on them, not once, never changed his position either. Even when he was approached and they attempted to coerce him to change his position, he said, "You cannot change my position. I know who he is, and I request you not to try to change my position." So he was very clear on it. And from this perspective, he was manifesting what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to give to this world. So this was his pillar, the foundation for preaching Rupanuga Bhakti. For our Gurudev, he was showing what our Srila Prabhupada, who he is, what foundation. He's that amazing foundation, the pillar of Rupanuga Bhakti in this world. What he did around the world, laying that amazing foundation. And he said everything is there in his books. Maybe you didn't hear it in the classes, but it's all there in his books. So our Srila Gurudev was quite emphatic on this point, glorifying our Srila Prabhupada as being in Madhurya Rasa, serving in the same way and in a similar form to his Gurudev, Nayana Mani Manjari, and his Gurudev, Shri Kamala Manjari, and Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, all of those personalities, Vinod Manjari, all of them, same. So our Srila Gurudev was establishing this point very clearly. What did Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu come to give? He came to taste. He's Krishna coming to taste the moods of Srimati Radhika. This is what he is. Radha Bhava Dyutusi Valitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. And as he's tasting that amazing Unata Ujvala Rasa, which is only the property of Srimati Radhika, no one else, that supremely top, most brilliant rasa, nectar, that is the love that Srimati Radhika feels for Krishna. Krishna's tasting that. And as he's tasting that, Prem Ras Niryash Korite Ashvadan, he's tasting that transcendental nectar. Oh, he's not satisfied tasting it himself. He also wants the whole world to experience it. Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Korite Pracharan. Mahaprabhu is not preaching Vaidhi Bhakti to the whole world. Chaitanya Charitamrita directly states, Raga Marga Bhakti Loke, the path of spontaneous, loving affection to Krishna. He is giving this to the world. Pracharam. He is preaching this to the world. How is he preaching it to the world? Through our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale. Rupa Goswami established in this world the inner heart's desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu came to establish Chari Bhav. It says it in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chari Bhav. Chari means 4 different moods, 4 different rasas. What are they? Of course, Madhurya, Vatsalya, Sakya, Dasya. However, if we look deeply into who he is and what he's experiencing and what he will be sharing, he is Krishna, but he's experiencing the mood of Sridham Saka, right? Yes or no? Right? Come on. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, who came to experience the moods of Sridham Saka. Or maybe he came to experience the mood of Nanda Baba, or Raktak Patrak, or any peacock, or any tree. Krishna came to experience the moods of love and affection that his own heart, Srimati Radhika, has for him. And experiencing that nectar within his heart, he also desired to give something of that to this world. Anatpita charing chirat kurane avatin nakalo samarpayitum unatojvala rasang svabhakti shriyam. Our Srila Gurudev wanted all of us to know and understand this point very, very clearly. What had not been given in such a long time, samarpayitum. How long? Like forever. 8,640,000,000 years before. Can you imagine how long that is? Can someone multiply that by days? Let me see. If you take a calculator and let's average that by 80 years for a human lifetime. 8,640. Oops, my calculator can't even put that number. Hold on. 8,640,000,000 years. There we are. Divided by 80 years for the average human lifetime. Oh, that'll be 108 million human lifetimes. How about that? 108 million 80-year human lifetimes. So even that's practically unfathomable. That's how long it was since Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself came to give what he's giving. Unata Ujvala Rasang, he is tasting the moods of Srimati Radhika. And tasting those moods, what kind of nectar is he experiencing? This is the most amazing thing he's ever tasted. And he desires for the entire world to also experience this. Well, it must be spontaneous because Radhika's love is spontaneous. But her love is only for her to give to Krishna. No one else can experience her mood exactly. Even Krishna is endeavoring to experience it. But something of that can be given to this world. What is that? Svabhakti Shriyam. Her own love and affection, beauty. The beauty or the Shriyam of her love and affection. And that beauty of her love and affection is manifest in the form of her maidservants. That is all of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Gosvāmī, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Lokanath Goswami, Bhaktivedānta Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Goswami Mahārāja, our Srila Gurudev, our Srila Prabhupada, all of them. Look at the whole collection of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga. What is their mood? They don't want to meet directly with Krishna. They have exclusive mood towards Srimati Radhika because they're in the guidance of Sri Rupa. What is their mood? They want to see that Krishna is always running after her, begging her for her mercy. Not only that, they understand, and Shastra tells us, Sarva Vede Bole, Radhika Dasira Krishna. Krishna becomes the property of the maidservants of Srimati Radhika. Why? He has to beg them for permission. How powerful are they? And their mood is very exclusive toward her. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada states that the only reason we have any connection to Krishna is because he has connection to her. This is quite shocking for someone who comes from the platform of everything is Krishna. Because as one is progressing, they will understand what aspect of Krishna. So the exclusivity, when you start refining the process, starts to come toward Srimati Radhika more and more and more. And then it becomes more exclusive than that. What aspect of Srimati Radhika? Well, Sri Narottam Das Thakur states it very clearly. Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Se Mor Sampara Se Mor Bhajana Pujan Se Mor Pranadana Se Mor Abharan Se Mor Jivaner Jivan. They are my everything. The lotus feet of Shri Rupa Manjari are the goal of my japa. They are the goal of my mantras. They are the goal of all of my activities in bhakti. They are the goal of my parikramas. They are the goal of my Vaishnava seva. They are the goal of my arti. They are the goal of everything that I am doing on this path of bhakti. That is Rupanuga Bhakti, and that is what our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas have come to give. Shri Rupanuga Bhakti Da. If Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada came to give Shri Rupanuga Bhakti Da, that means to give, then what did our Srila Prabhupada come to give? Well, if he's the perfect disciple of his Gurudev, then he came to give what his Gurudev came to give. Then what did Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj come to give? Well, if he's the perfect disciple, then he came to give what his Gurudev came to give. And our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Goswami Maharaj, came to give just that very thing. Shri Rupanuga Bhakti. That means the mood of spontaneous loving affection in service to Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, under the guidance of Shri Rupa Manjari, in the group of Lalita Sakhi, as a Kinkari, maidservant of Srimati Radhika. So our Srila Gurudev was very, very clear on this point. We should know what the goal is. We should understand what our aim and object is. If we don't know that, if we don't have a clear indication of that, then we're going to use a term in English, beat around the bush. I don't know what the term is in England, but it probably came from there. Meaning, okay, well, maybe we can just test our own pulses, test our own hearts. What kind of quality is our japa? Do we sit there and kind of think about other stuff and sometimes put our hands in our mala and go, and think about anything else and scroll through Facebook at the same time? That's called beating around the bush. In other words, we're not going anywhere or doing anything really. It's just kind of an external show. We can do that for millions and millions of lifetimes if we don't set our goal. Without a goal, there is no drive, no energy to move. But if you want something, if you desire something, if you're greedy for something, there's movement here, and that movement manifests externally. As if anyone has been in love, well, had a crush on someone. If you just sit there and think about it, it doesn't really go anywhere. But if you try to do something about it, at least there's a potential. Right? A man will buy roses and chocolates. That's traditional. Valentine's Day is coming up in a couple of days, and the world is full of it. Roses and chocolates for your beloved, for that person that you are attracted to. Some endeavor is made with a hope. If you never do anything, never speak anything, never make any motion, then there will not be any reaction. What is required for us to move forward on the path of bhakti? It's very interesting because someone might read in Śrīmad Bhagavatam that bhakti is ahaitaki and apratihata. Savai pungsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir hokshaje ahaitaki apratihata yayatma suprasiddhati. It means that bhakti is without any cause, it's causeless, and it is without cessation. The endeavor is constant, steady and flowing and causeless. Srila Bhaktivedānta Bharati Mahārāja explained, it's not that it's causeless, it's that it has no material cause. There's definitely a cause for the awakening of bhakti. What is that? Tatra loryam apimulyam ekalam. The intense, greedy desire to have it. That is what will awaken Krishna Bhakti Ras. That's what will make our hearts move toward loving service, spontaneous loving service to Krishna. The intense, greedy desire to attain it. And wherever it can be attained, however it can be had, it must be purchased without delay, or begged, borrowed, or even stolen. Somehow or other, one must get it. That is the proof of intense, greedy desire. When one has that, that creates an intensity inside, a pulling and a pushing, utsaha, enthusiasm. And, well, if I don't attain it today, anyhow, I am definitely going to attain it, even if it takes my entire life. Like Mother Yashoda said, I vow to Nārāyaṇa, I will bind my son. Even if it takes my entire life, I will not give up. With that kind of endeavor, Krishna's kripa shakti, his mercy potency, completely overpowered his Aishwarya Shakti, his powerful potency, and Mother Yashoda was finally able to easily bind him simply with the ribbon from her hair. By that kind of intense determination and dharya, patience. Patience is also there. I'm going to Srila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj. I've told this before. When he was serving Sri Harinam Prabhu at the time of japa, he would chant on his beads, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And like in the mood of the gopis. Because they're only looking in the direction from where Krishna left Vrindavan. Krishna left Vrindavan and they're only looking in that direction. Why? Because Krishna promised, I will return in 2 days or 4. If he said, I will never return, immediately on the spot, they would have given up their lives. Nothing to be here for. But because he said, I will return in 2 days or 4, they are longingly looking in that direction. Something must have delayed him. He said he would return. So somehow we must maintain our lives, because if he were to come back and see that we are all finished, this would break his heart, and we cannot do that. So even though our heart is breaking like millions of times every moment, yugaitam nimeshena chakshushapravrishaitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahename, even though our hearts are breaking millions of times every moment, and we feel like we're just about to die, we will maintain our lives within our bodies so that his heart does not feel one pinch of discomfort when he returns. Longingly looking in that direction and waiting for Krishna. So as he was chanting, Hare Krishna, something must have delayed him today. Krishna did not manifest in this mantra. He must have been delayed. Perhaps in the next one, he will manifest. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. What kind of a difference is that from our chanting? We're like, oh my God, whoa, look at the scores. Woo, who won the football match? Oh, what do I want to purchase on Amazon? Like this. Ooh, kitten videos on Facebook. Oh my God, did you see the politics in America? No one's wearing masks in India. Oh my God, everyone's wearing masks in America. All of this kind of stuff. And this is our chanting. And what comes as a result of that? All kinds of mundane things. Our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj said, if you vibrate mundane sounds, you get material results. And if you vibrate Vaikuntha sounds, transcendental sounds, you get Vaikuntha results, transcendental results. So, ahaitiki apratihata, yes, bhakti should be constant and steady and always flowing and without cessation and causeless. No material cause, but there is a spiritual cause, and that spiritual cause is the intense, greedy desire to attain it. But patience should still be there. But where does that intense, greedy desire come from? Yes, Rudragupta, Achyutananda Prabhu, the disciple of our Srila Prabhupada, when he met our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he said that that's what our Param Gurudev told him. Exactly those words. So, where was I? Ahoitiki apratihata. Where do you get this intense greed from? Where does it come from? Only through the association of those persons who have that mood in their heart. By the way, everything I'm telling, this is the teachings of our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, and it's something I've been meditating on, well, for the whole year, and yesterday especially, and today. So I'm sharing these essences. Where does it come from? From those persons who have it in their heart. Those sadhus whose hearts have those particular moods of loving affection for Krishna. For us, if we want to progress on the path of bhajan and bhakti in the wake of the moods of Shri Rupa, what is Rupanuga, all of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, then we must take shelter of a true Rupanuga Vaishnava. Reside at their lotus feet, hear instructions from them, and serve under their direction. Tishtan braje tad anuragi jananugami. And by this, the mood that is in their heart will awaken within our heart. The example we've given before, like fire catching. Fire, a wood that's on fire catching some wet wood on fire. By that association, over time, eventually, gradually, all of our anarthas will disappear. First, that heat needs to come. Means the heat of transcendental knowledge. And that will evaporate all of those misgivings. It doesn't mean that nothing is happening. Just because anarthas are being removed, they are being removed by the superior energy. Otherwise, there's no way to remove the anarthas. That superior energy means the fire of love and affection, of spontaneous love and affection that is burning in the hearts of our Rupanuga Guru Varga. By being in that association, following their instructions, serving them, and receiving, endeavoring to enter deeply into the moods which they have instructed us to enter into. And gradually, by that association, by that positive, transcendental, burning energy, our hearts will begin to become less cold. So that's why it is said that before anartha nivritti, if you read in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ado Shraddha. Well, first faith. But where does the faith come? There's a preliminary sadhu sangha. Then there's Shraddha, faith. Then there's a secondary sadhu sangha, which is the kind where I am making a resolution to take shelter. Then all of the positive activities of bhakti, bhajana kriya. And from that, then anartha nivritti syat. So this is another major instruction of our Srila Gurudev. Prema bhakti jaha hoite, then avidya vinasha jate. Was I just speaking in a bunch of Sanskrit? Please forgive me. First, associating with devotees. And this brings faith. Krishna bhakti janmamul. The awakening of Krishna bhakti, the root cause of that is the association of devotees. That some desire to want to serve Krishna is awakening in my heart. By sadhu sangha, Faith comes as a result. And from that, then one makes a resolution that I will surrender, submit myself at the feet of the devotees, and I will be under their guidance and follow their instructions and the discipline they give me for my own benefit. And from that, sadhu sangha, tap bhajana kriya. So then we engage in the activities of bhakti. This is known as bhajana kriya, which have been prescribed to us by our Gurudev according to the goal that we need to strive toward. There are general activities and there are specific activities. If we engage in activities like Dvarka Dhyan, Prapati and Nyas, so many other kinds of things, these can actually be unfavorable for the attainment of our goal. It means meditating on the pastimes of Krishna in Dwarka, for example. This is called Dvarka Dhyan. For those who want to attain Rupanuga Bhakti, we have to be very, very exclusive in our approach. It's not that we don't acknowledge them and read them and glorify them, but we don't aspire to attain that. We will see that this is the pastime of Braj Krishna in another aspect. It's very, very exclusive. So bhajana kriya means all of these activities on the path of devotion. And from that, then naturally anartha nivritti, all of our misgivings, ignorance, anarthas and everything begin to become destroyed, begin to evaporate in essence. Then nishta, firm conviction, ruchi, taste, ashakti, deep attachment, bhav, transcendental loving mood. Then from there, rati, prem, divine love. So our Gurudev would always mention this. Prema bhakti jaha hoite, avidya vinasha jate. First, prema bhakti will manifest in the form of shraddha, by the mercy of the pure devotees. And by that, then ignorance will be dispelled, not the other way around. You cannot just remove anarthas without the superior energy or without the higher taste. How are you going to free yourself from the material entanglement on your own? It's not possible. Maya mugda jivanahi svata krishna gyan. The conditioned soul cannot extract himself from the material energy by his own power. He's dependent on mercy from above. And that mercy from above means Krishna's mercy has manifested to us in the form of Shri Guru. Bande Guru Shri Charanarabindam. That's why we first surrender to the lotus feet of Shri Guru. Ado Shraddha. Ado Guru Parashray. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī is telling, Ado Guru Parashray. First of all, surrender to the lotus feet of Shri Guru. At that point, then everything which comes on the path of bhakti, when we are under guidance, will be favorable toward the attainment and the awakening of our goal, of our perfection. Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shastre Koy, Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hoy. Even one moment of real, true acceptance of association, and I'm using the word not just association, but acceptance of association with a real sadhu, is capable of granting one complete perfection. Because from that one moment, everything else will manifest. It's not like that one moment, okay, now I'm a pure devotee. It's not so cheap. It's not so cheap. It's not cheap at all. It is the most valuable, highest destination. What we are aspiring for is practically unfathomable, and yet that has come to us in the form of Shri Guru. Srila Gurudev has stood in front of us, and his heart is saturated in that bhakti rasa. Our Guru Varga, they are standing in front of us, and their heart is full of that. And they're saying, here, take my heart, and I will take your heart. What a beautiful exchange. That is the Dati Pratikrinati. He's giving you himself. Here, I'm giving you myself in the form of Harikatha. I'm giving you my heart. And I'm giving you myself in the form of mantras, Guru Mantra and Guru Gayatri. Take my life, take my time seriously. Srila Gurudev said, I was happily absorbed in doing bhajan in Vrindavan. I don't need you to make my bhajan successful. I have come here for you, to help you. So please, he was begging, please take my time, take my life seriously. In other words, we should not waste his time. He's struggling, giving so much energy, so much endeavor for our benefit. How can we reciprocate with that? By endeavoring to accept it and do something with it. Just so you know, I'm speaking to myself very, very loudly. And if any of you benefit from the ideas which I'm speaking to myself, then all the better. But he's giving something. How does one serve Gurudev? Gurudev said Vyas Puja is not about putting garlands and giving money and making feasts and all of this. This is not how one really serves Gurudev. In fact, it can be a distraction. Even yesterday when we were putting the garlands up, we were like, this is taking too long. We want to meditate on and remember the instructions and the teachings of our Gurudev, but we're busy putting flower decorations. That's nice, but Gurudev said that is not the real Vyas Puja. Real Vyas Puja means to surrender one's independence wholly and totally at the lotus feet of Sri Gurudev. This is real Vyas Puja. Everything that I have valued in my life, everything I've had attachment to, all of my love, my affection, my possessions, everything that I have thought is mine. I am offering at your lotus feet. All of this attachment I am condensing in one point, and this mood of independence, this mood that I am perfect, powerful, and happy, and I'm good on my own, I am offering that at your lotus feet. He said, this is real Guru Puja. And when one takes this mood, then they can start to awaken this real Shishya Bhav, disciple mood. That I am your disciple and you can do with me as you like. This is what Arjuna told Krishna. Now I will follow your instruction. As you tell me, Shishyashteham, he said. So in this connection, I'm just going to mention again what Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj said. What is a disciple? A disciple is one who voluntarily places themselves in the position where severe discipline is inflicted upon them by Sri Guru. Meaning I'm willing to accept whatever discipline you give me for my own benefit. And I know I've told it many times before, but it should be well known and understood that before Srila Gurudev started traveling to the West, he was known as being extremely severe, very heavy. Pujapad Ban Maharaj, Uma Didi, Madam Maharaj, all of them remember and recall how just the sound of his name, Nārāyaṇa Maharaj is coming, they would start shaking and they would start doing some seva or somehow occupying themselves with something favorable for bhakti. No laziness, no complacency, no weakness was allowed. But Srila Gurudev acknowledged way early, 1996 or 98, I was there in the temple in Keshavji Gauri Mathura. He said, I have to be so careful with you from the West, the devotees from the West. I have to be so gentle with you. If I say anything that even slightly pinches you, you will say, oh, I don't like Nārāyaṇa Maharaj. And he said, and then you will leave me and bhakti forever. So I have to be so careful with you. He said, but with my brahmacharis, he said, I know even if I beat them bitterly, they will never leave me. That's not a glorification of us. That's an acknowledgement of our weakness. Oh my God. My faith is so weak. I'm so far from bhakti. I'm so far from being a real disciple that if my Gurudev said something that even slightly pinched my heart, I would want to run away. I should come to that platform where he could beat me bitterly and I would have nowhere else to turn except for his lotus feet. but I have no other shelter. You are my shelter. You are my master. You are my everything. So there's this other aspect, and I've noticed that devotees don't talk about it much. He's so sweet, he's so loving, Yes, it's true, but how strong was he in himself, in his own practice, and how much did he demand and require from those who actually really took shelter of him? There should be no mistake that he is weak by any means. He is a lion like Acharya. He would always say, the son of a lion is also a lion. He would say about Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshari Goswami Maharaj, his nickname is Acharya Keshari. It's like a lion like Acharya. And his guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, was also glorified as the lion like Acharya. And Srila Gurudev would say, the son of a lion is also a lion. And our Gurudev was definitely a very fierce lion. And he wanted all of his children to grow up. Not to remain in the kitten stage forever, but to grow up and also to become lions and to roar loudly his teachings, the teachings of our Guru Varga, the teachings of Mahaprabhu, very boldly and loudly, not to cower, not to be cowed down. When anyone is twisting and changing the teachings of our Gurudev and Guru Varga, they're devotees, so I shouldn't say anything. No. Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj said we can tolerate anything, but not changes in Tattva and Siddhanta. Look at each and every one of our Guru Varga. What did they do? They were roaring and fighting very valiantly and boldly to maintain and present purely the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the teachings of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And they also want us to be like that. In the name of harmony, we can do so much damage. That means we're accepting everything and everyone as one. It becomes Mayavad. It's all one. No. This will be direct offense, not only to our Gurudev, but to all of the hard work that our Guru Varga has given. Our Gurudev wanted us to develop very strong nishtha, conviction in the lotus feet, but it means in the teachings, in the moods, in the instructions of not only him, but his Guru and his Guru and his Guru, our Guru Varga. So much so that if anyone said anything slightly different, we should boldly stand up and defeat it, he said. It's not that we should not try to be harmonious, but if something or someone, look at Gaudiya Math, for example. Only when it was no longer able to be reconciled, when some of the disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada severely deviated from his teachings and were actually giving other concepts which were opposed to his teachings, there was a massive split. And our Param Gurudev, Bhakti Pragyan Keshari Goswami Maharaj, our Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Shri Rup Siddhanti Maharaj, so many stalwart Vaishnavas, they split and they started their own society. Our Param Gurudev would take any of his godbrothers to court if they would deviate and start teaching some other conceptions other than the teachings of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. And he exclaimed that his mission would not be successful unless there were a minimum of 3 court cases going simultaneously. Why am I telling these things? Because there's so much emphasis on everyone just accepting everything. But this is not the definition of Trinadapi Sunni Chena. Our Gurudev didn't like this either. If you read his 5 essential essays, even once, you would understand how strict, how clear he was to defend the teachings of our Guru, of his Gurudev and his Guru Varga. He wanted us all to know these essential truths. He wanted us to all know these essential truths, so that when we could hear anything, if we would hear anything that would be opposed to the principles of pure bhakti, we could establish the truth, quoting our Guru Varga, our Shastras. And by doing so, this will be so pleasing to Sri Gurudev. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, Trinarapi Suni Chena, this verse describing humility by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, does not mean that one should be humble to everyone, to the atheists and Mayavadis and materialists and nonsense persons and sahajyas, meaning accepting their moods and their conceptions, and lusty persons. Trinarapi Sunichena does not mean that or imply that. That's why we must take shelter of the Vaishnavas to understand the teachings of Shastra, or the teachings of the Lord, or the teachings of the Purva Acharyas, the previous Acharyas. He said, what does it mean? It means to be humble to Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas, those who will help us to progress on the path of bhakti. If we just accept the opinions of anyone, then we will also accept the opinions of those who are opposed to the pure teachings of our Gurudev and Guru Varga. Then where is the possibility of being under guidance? There's no meaning of that. Gurudev, I'm quoting Gurudev. Gurudev said that. There's no meaning to what is the meaning of being under guidance if you're not following the conceptions, the teachings, the moods of Sri Gurudev? There's no meaning to that. So then if someone says something opposite to what my Gurudev said, I'll be like, yes, in the name of harmony, I will accept it. No. If someone is doing all kinds of nefarious activities in the name of being Guru, in the name of harmony, I will accept it. No. If someone is preaching directly opposite, or saying, why are you chanting Hare Krishna? Why are you doing that? You should just, chant ice cream. It's the same thing. Okay. No. We hold tightly to the lotus feet of our Gurudev and Guru Varga. And even more than just trying to please all of the Vaishnavas, we should try to please our Gurudev. Srila Gurudev said, he asked this question, should you try to please all of the Vaishnavas in order to serve Gurudev? Or should you try to please Gurudev? And he said, you can never please everyone. If you try, you will fail. Guaranteed. Our mood should be how to please Gurudev. Our mood should be how to please Gurudev, and then everything will be properly placed. That verse, Yatataror Mula Nishechanena Tripyanti Tatskanda Bhajopashaka Pranopaharat Shaitendriyanam Tataiva Sarvahanam Achutejya. This is saying, by watering the root of the tree, automatically the entire tree is nourished. By giving food into your mouth and into your stomach, the entire body is nourished. In the same way, if you give your love and affection to Krishna, at the feet of Krishna, automatically, everything in Krishna's creation is nourished. You're connecting to everyone. Well, the first form of Krishna in our life is Sri Guru. And we already mentioned that verse yesterday. Krishna Kripa got it. Pratamam tu gurum pujam. First of all, you worship this form. And we're coming to this point here. Sakshat haritvena samashta shastre uktashta bhavyata eva sadbhi kintu prabhurya priya eva tasya vande guru shri charanarvindam yasya prasadad bhagava prasaro yasya prasadan nagati kutopi. Guru is considered non-different from Krishna. Sakshat Hari. Directly Hari. But Kintu Prabhurya Priya Eva Tasya. What aspect of Hari? Ashray Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Enjoyer Godhead. And all others, Srimati Radhika, all of our Guru Varga are Supreme Personalities of Servitor Godhead. This is Guru Tattva. Kintu Prabhurya Priya. How should we see Guru? As the dearmost of Krishna. Mukunda Preshtatve Smara Paramajashru Nanumana. Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, we should always remember Gurudev as the dearest of Sri Mukunda, Krishna. But here, next line, Yasya Prasadad Bhagavat Prasado. Solely by the mercy of Sri Guru, only by the mercy of Guru can one attain the mercy of Krishna. And without it, one cannot make any advancement. Yasya prasadan nagati means one cannot attain the destination. So first and foremost, all of these ideas, anyabhilashita shunyam, this verse defining bhakti, anukulyasya sankalpa, this verse defining surrender, and yatataror mulinishechanena, this verse describing where to put your love and affection. First and foremost, Srila Gurudev said they should be offered at the lotus feet of Guru, and from there everything will automatically be rightly placed, properly placed. If we don't follow that process, then nagati kutopi, one cannot attain to any destination. Actually, one will not attain to their goal. In that bhajan, Guru Charana Kamal Bhajaman, there it says, Guru Kripa Bina Nahi Koi Sadhana Bal. Without the mercy of Guru, one cannot make any progress on the path of sadhana. Why? Because this is something that Srila Gurudev established very clearly, and it's necessary to share this. Sadhan means kriti sadhya, bhavet sadhya, bhava sadhana vida. Sadhana means not just the activities that I'm doing on the path of bhakti, but the activities that I am doing on the path of bhakti to attain a particular goal. Sadhya. And the goal of sadhana is bhav, bhakti. Bhavasa sadhana vida. The goal of our practice is to attain transcendental loving mood. This bhav. That is the goal, which means it is growing as we are practicing. This intention, this divine sentiment of loving service to Krishna is growing through the practice of our sadhana because we have a goal. If we do not have a goal, it cannot be called sadhana. It might be some kind of exercise, some kind of practice, a muscle strengthening, so to speak. But imagine a football match with no goals, no posts. You're kicking a ball around the field, but there's no goal. So there's really no game. Sadhana is the practice aimed at attaining a particular goal. So our Srila Gurudev would make this point very clearly. Guru Kripa Bina Nahi Koi Sadhana Bala. Without the mercy of Gurudev, there is no possibility of moving on the path of sadhana because we won't know what our goal is. Maybe a general hazy idea of the goal to love Krishna in one of his many, many manifestations. But it's too general. One won't know exactly where to go. And through that kind of general idea, one can take a very long time to attain an awakening of where they should go. As we have seen in the traversing of Gopakumar, as he has moved from one plane of existence to the next, even within the transcendental realms, as he was not exactly aware of what his goal should be. The whole point of that entire katha is to let us know that we should have a very fixed goal, which means Sri Guru should be a tattvadarshi. They know and see the truth. They know the Lord. They know themselves. They are aware of their relationship with the Lord, which is practically being experienced. And because they know that, they can also detect or see the nature of our Atma. What is the nature of your soul? Specifically, what kind of service will you perform? To what aspect of Godhead? What will you look like? What kind of service? What articles? How will you be? What are your intrinsic internal moods? In essence, what is the DNA of your soul? They can detect that, they can see that, and they will direct us accordingly to our goal. Don't waste your time going in all different directions. You've wasted enough time already, O Jiva. Now your great fortune has come. Focus your energy, focus your attention, focus everything on your own inherent, eternal goal of loving service to your Ishtadev. Our Ishtadev would be Radha Vinod Bihari. Why Radha Vinod Bihari? Because Vinod Bihari is that form of Krishna who is desperately seeking the mercy of Srimati Radhika. Srila Bhaktivedānta Bharati Mahārāja explained that Krishna could not steal the moods of Srimati Radhika. He had to take shelter of her moods. He had to take shelter of her moods and attain that mercy. And then he came as Sri Sachinandan Gaurahari. So Vinod Bihari, this is also very intricately connected to our Srila Gurudev, because it is the Thakurji of his Gurudev. Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Radha Chintaniveshena Yasya Kantir Vilopita Shri Krishna Charanam Bande Radha Lingita Vigraham. Krishna himself, feeling separation from Srimati Radhika, was sitting just next door under the tamarind tree, deeply absorbed in remembering and thinking about Srimati Radhika in great separation, in such deep absorption. Because Vrindavan is such a place that what you meditate deeply upon becomes a reality. Right? Chintamani. Everything is chintamani here. Every thought, chinta means thought, manifests a result. So Krishna is sitting there in deep absorption, feeling separation from Srimati Radhika. So absorbed in her, our Gurudev explained that it was as if he was fully embraced by her, completely coated from all sides. Radha alingita. And because of that deep absorption, remembering her moods, taking shelter of her, then Radha alingita vigraham. What happened? His form became golden, like hers. Tapta kanchana gaurangi. Now he has become Gauranga. That is Vinod Bihari. That is the prelude to the manifestation of Sachinandan Gaurahari. In essence, it is the same principle. Vinod Bihari and Sachinandan Gaurahari. So this was also an amazing teaching about our Srila Gurudev. He wanted us to understand these points and these issues very, very clearly. What is Rupanuga? What is the mood of any Rupanuga Vaishnava? Real mood of a Rupanuga Vaishnava. They don't want to see that Srimati Radhika is weeping and crying and pining and running after Krishna. Rather, they want to see Krishna submitting to her. How? Smaragaralakandaram mamashitashi mandaram dehi parapalavamudaram, begging for her foot dust, placing his flute at her feet, placing his peacock feather at her feet, weeping and crying and begging for her mercy. This makes them so happy. This is what they like to see. That she is like that peahen, just pecking, and he's that peacock trying to get her attention, doing so much work trying to attract her mercy. This is how our Rupanuga Guru Varga like to see Radha and Krishna, not that other way around. As Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said at Radha Kund, when they saw so many people doing parikrama, Dandavat parikrama, and the devotees were quite impressed how much bhakti they had. He said, yes, but their mood is different from ours. It's opposite. They have respect for Radhika because of her connection to Krishna. He said, but the only reason we have anything to do with Krishna is because of his connection to Srimati Radhika. The Srimati Radhika is the goal. The service to Srimati Radhika is the goal and aspiration of all Rupanuga Vaishnavas. And through her they serve Krishna. As our Srila Prabhupada said, Radharani is the medium by which one's love and affection is transmitted to Krishna. And then he asked, what is Krishna like more than anything? Basically, he's speaking about pure bhakti, anya vilashita shunyam. What is he like more than anything? Who does he like the most? Radharani. So he said, so our mood is how to push Radharani to Krishna. Yes, our Srila Prabhupada said this. You can find it in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita purports. So, Srila Gurudev is the embodiment of every single one of these moods, and he made it very clear that all of our Rupanuga Guru Varga, also Rupanuga, have these moods. Their moods are that I am in the anugatya, or following in the sadhana that Rupa Goswami did in this world as Rupa Goswami, externally, and internally in Siddha Bhav as Sri Rupa Manjari is doing for Radha and Krishna in the Nikunjas of Vrindavan. Seva sadhaka rupena, siddha rupena chatrahi. So what our Srila Gurudev gave was nothing new and nothing different. What he did was establish again in this world very clearly what our Guru Varga, what our Acharyas, what our Goswamis came to give. And I have maintained it all along that all along since probably month 1, 1996, the only reason anyone had anything different to say about the teachings of our Gurudev is because they did not read or study Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Because if you read it, it's all there. Very clearly, very simply, very easily. That's why our Gurudev would be like, what? I'm not giving anything different. It's the same wine in a new bottle. It's a different form, but I'm giving the same thing. Look, it's here, it's there, it's everywhere. And he was just opening up Prabhupada's books and showing us even the idea that Krishna was not born in Mathura, but rather born in Vrindavan. That is in the purports of our Srila Prabhupada in Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur told it. On the authority of Hari Vangsha, it's all there. And Gurudev was saying, look, it's there. This understanding is there in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita as well. And he opened our eyes to it. I told you before, when I was in university, instead of studying for what I should have been studying for, I think I was supposed to be studying some Spanish and piano and mathematics and chemistry. Instead, I was in the devotional books section from India, and I found one book about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna. So I guess it was a Gaudiya Mutt book, I don't know, but it was in the California State University of Los Angeles, and I was reading it, and I stopped short at one point. I was reading it, and it said, the Krishna in Vrindavan is not the same as the Krishna in Mathura and Dwarka. And I thought, what bollocks, it's just not true. And I was like, this is bogus. And then I stopped reading it. And then I heard it from my Gurudev years later. The Krishna in Vrindavan is not the same as the Krishna in Mathura and Dwarka. Except my Gurudev gave the verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita to prove it. And then I was like, oh my God. And he explained all of that to us. Every amazing refinement of what Rupanuga Bhakti is. Gurudev was just giving to the world. If he did not do that, it could be lost to the world forever. So merciful, so kind. He said, if I didn't do this, if I didn't give this, it would be lost to the world forever. So he acknowledged that he had a role to play. And even though so many were against him for doing it, he had stated many, many times, one day they will all understand and appreciate what I have given. And he said they will all. So when any pure Vaishnava makes this kind of statement, like Bhaktivedānta Thakur made the statement, one day very soon, devotees of Mahaprabhu from the Western countries will join with devotees of Mahaprabhu in India, and together they will do Harinam Sankirtan. And at the time when he said it, the idea was like preposterous. Really? How can that happen? But within only a few short years, it happened. Our Srila Prabhupada went to the West, and like a bomb of transcendental love and affection, made the Hare Krishna explosion. The names of Krishna went to every town and village of the world. And then he brought those devotees to India. And so many came together. And together, as brothers and sisters, they were chanting the holy names of the Lord. Jai Sachinandan, Jai Gaura Hari, Hare Krishna. Bhaktivedānta Thakur predicted, so soon it came. Mahaprabhu predicted, Sarvatra Prachar Hoibe Morna. My name will be chanted in every town and village, he said. Sure enough, it came to pass. And our Srila Gurudev said, one day they will all understand and appreciate what I have given. What Rupa Goswami came to give, what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur came to give, really what all of our acharyas came to give, but specifically, they each have their own speciality. It's not that they're not capable of giving all of that. They are, because they're all just like Sri Rupa. They're capable of giving that, but there's specialities in their seva. And so just like when there would be any big festival, and our Gurudev would give glory, he would glorify each person involved in any part of the seva. Oh, thank you to the cooks. Without prasadam, everyone would be disturbed. So, glory goes to the cooks. Oh, and to those who were cleaning up. Without them, then no one could sit down for prasadam. So, glory to those who are cleaning. Glory to those who are doing a kirtan and giving the harikatha. Glory to those who are, all the different sevas, and especially those who are cleaning the toilets. If that was not done, everyone would be constantly disturbed. So, although anyone was capable of doing any seva, they all had their particular roles, and each one in their role was contributing to the overall success of those festivals. So all of our acharyas are also working like this, together, in conjunction. Some are clearing the jungles, some are building the foundation, some are building the palace, some are doing the interior decorating, some are placing Radha and Krishna in that palace. They're all taking their roles. Our Srila Gurudev's speciality was to speak and to install within our hearts the sweet pastimes of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna and Sachinandan Gaurahari. Specifically speaking about their sweet pastimes. Shri Krishna Lila Kathane Sudaksham Odarya Madhurya Gunaishcha Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Nārayaṇam Tam Shirashan Namami. How was he doing all of that? I want to keep speaking, and I know I should sing another bhajan. He had an amazing speciality of giving us relationship, making us feel like we are connected somehow to our Srila Prabhupada. Sudevi and I grew up in ISKCON. We were born in ISKCON. We met Srila Prabhupada. We got cookies from his hand every morning and every night throughout the day. Jai Srila Prabhupada. And we knew him as the cookie man, and we thought we loved him. But we didn't really know deeply about him and who he was. We were hearing his books, but we didn't hear about him the way our Gurudev would speak, from such a personal, intimate relationship. How Prabhupada would weep at Radha Damodar when he was singing Sad Goswami Ashtakam or Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. How they were cooking chapatis together. How Prabhupada at that time was so poor externally that he only had one chadar, one cloth to put on the floor, and it had holes in it, but anyhow he would throw that on the floor and they would sit on it together and discuss the beautiful pastimes of Krishna. How Prabhupada took Gurudev's hands in his hands, asked him to sit on his own bed just before his departure from this world, from our vision, and begged our Gurudev, please, you have to help my disciples. He actually mentioned that there's so much immaturity. I'm not going to use the word that Prabhupada used, but something to the effect of banada. And please, promise me you will help them. And Gurudev was like, it's a big task. And Prabhupada said, you have to promise me. And Gurudev said at that point, he said, I vowed to him that until my last breath, I would do my best to help them in all ways. And he did just that. Even at the expense of his own health. When the children, the biological children of Abhay Charan De, Abhay Charanaravinda Prabhu, decided that whatever success he had had as a sannyasi, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja, Srila Prabhupada, whatever temples he had opened, whatever funding had come for printing his books, etc., they decided that actually that was his family business and that they were due to receive the inheritance. So they made a big court case. Well, who did they count on to fight against this? Our Srila Gurudev. Why? Because our Srila Gurudev was largely responsible for arranging the sannyas ceremony of our Srila Prabhupada. So being a personal witness, encouraging him, petitioning our Param Gurudev to give him sannyas, making his danda, making his cloth, and also being the priest of that yajna, our Srila Gurudev personally was, and having a very intimate relationship with our Srila Prabhupada. Our Gurudev was requested to go to court, so he was going so many times to Mumbai, to the court case there in Bombay, at the expense of his own health. And he was strongly defending what sannyas is. What our Srila Prabhupada did had nothing to do with this material world. Sannyas means death from the material world and complete life in the spiritual world. Real sannyas. And our Gurudev established all of these so emphatically, and he protected the society that Srila Prabhupada made, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, from those who would like to take everything, defund it basically, completely for their own material purposes. He fought tooth and nail for that and tried to help to the best of his ability. In fact, our Gurudev said once, I remember it was 1997, he said, they're telling me that I shouldn't come, that I shouldn't try to help. But Swamiji, he said, Swamiji told me, he made me vow that I will help them. He said, so whose instruction should I follow? Theirs or his? He said, I have to follow the instruction of my Gurudev. Even if they don't want it, still I have to try. And this is the mood of Nityananda Prabhu. Jagai Maharaj didn't want it. Whenever he would come nearby, they would chase him away. They would hurl insults at him. But still he kept coming and trying, until they actually physically hurt him. They caused his head to bleed. And still he gave his mercy. Our Gurudev was like that. Ghare ghare bule prem ami arban, going from door to door, even to those who didn't want him, and endeavoring to try to give them that nectar, that mercy. What is Rupa Anuga? What is our goal? What is our aspiration? Don't just remain stagnant. Let's move. This is a movement, Krishna consciousness movement. Let's move on the path of love and devotion and bhakti to Krishna. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. So everywhere, at all times, he was trying to awaken within our hearts a mood of relationship to Guru, a mood of relationship to our Guru Varga. Who is Prabhupada? Who is Param Gurudev? Who is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada? Who is Bhaktivedānta Thakur? Who is Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Gosvāmī, Raghunath Das Goswami? In such a way that we would feel in our hearts, yeah, that's my family. That's my father, my grandfather, my uncle, my possessive mood. Mamata would develop. And we would feel a familiarity with them that you could taste, that you could almost, it was so thick you could cut it, like it was substantial. He would make you feel in your heart like, yes, I know them. And establishing relationship, not with the sound of the names of Hare Krishna, but with the person of the names. Abhinatva Nama Namino, with Krishna. With Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Who is he? What did he come to give? What did he come to taste? What did he preach? Everything, all of these details he wanted to impress Rupa Goswami. Not just, I remember when I was young, growing up in the temple, and on the days of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, they had a little bit of a pushpanjali. So they would put a nice picture of him and a garland, and they would chant what we do for Mangalacharan, Bandeham Shri Guru, and go through that, and then they would all throw flowers, and maybe something would be said about him in the morning a little bit. And then there would be a feast at midday. For Srila Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, it was a lot less. and Bhaktivedānta Thakur a lot less. And over the years, it was kind of like, okay, there's a picture and a garland and some flowers, and that was pretty much what it was. But our Gurudev didn't do that. It was very different. He really would encourage us all to learn about these personalities, to glorify them, to meditate on their qualities, on their teachings, what they have given, what is their gift. He even didn't like so much when people would just talk about our Srila Prabhupada about like kachoris and toy guns. Something, but what did he come to give? What was his function? What was his purpose? What was his gift to this world? I want to hear those things. What is his speciality? Who is this transcendental personality? And if there's any time later on, then you can talk about guns and kachoris. He would say like this. So he gave us relationship to all of these personalities. He gave us relationship to Vrindavan, bringing us to all of these holy places, to all of the pastime places of Krishna, telling us about Krishna, telling us about Krishna's pastimes, putting our heads in the dust there. I mean, it's a little odd in a sense when I go to any place and I just start walking down some gully this way and turn right and left and right and left. And I know my way around Vrindavan, not just here. Yavat, Nandagaon, Gokul, Barshana. How? I mean, tourists come to Vrindavan and you know they're tourists because they've got big, big stamps of yellow on their foreheads. Radha stamps, but bright yellow. We're like, oh, tourist. And they're like looking this way and that way. And I'm like, they're like, Nidhivan. And I'm like, go that way, take a right, take a left. How do I know that? From Gurudev. Gurudev gave us a map of Vrindavan and he gave us relationship with all of these places and told us all of this Harikatha from all of these divine transcendental places. In other words, he gave us relationship with Vrindavan, with Govardhan, with Yamuna, with Radhakund. So, you might know where I'm going with this. Beautiful verse by Raghunath Das Goswami. Nama Shreshtham Manavapi Shachiputram Atra Sarupam Rupam Tasyagrajam Urupurim Maturim Goshtavatim Radhakundam Girivamraho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratitakapaya Shri Gurung Tang Natosmi. Why am I supplicating myself at the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev? Why? Because he's given me relationship with Sri Harinam. He's given me relationship with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, our 6 Goswamis, Rupam, Tasyagrajam, Urupurim, Maturim, Goshtava, with the Dham. He gave me relationship with Radhakund and with Govardhan and with Radhika and Madhava. And he has given me assurance of attaining my perfection in relationship with all of these personalities on one condition. I hold tightly and don't let go. We are hopelessly indebted forever and ever and ever. Gurudev said, you cannot repay me in millions of lifetimes for what I've given you. Not in millions of lifetimes. Maybe, what was that? 108 million lifetimes. You cannot repay me. But one thing you can do, he said. One thing. What is that? Whoever you meet, wherever you go, share what I've given. What I've taught you. Share that with others. This will be something. This is symptomatic of our appreciation for what he's giving us. I asked him, how can I develop love for Guru, for you, for Radha and Krishna? He said, when you begin to realize, understand, and appreciate what a valuable treasure Guru is giving, more valuable than millions of treasures of this world without expecting anything in return. When you begin to understand this, automatically your love for Guru will develop. How? You'll realize your hopeless indebtedness. If we begin to realize that he doesn't want anything from us for himself. He's here to help us for us. He doesn't need us. He has come to help us, for us, without payment, free of charge. And if we could really estimate it, like greater than millions of treasures of this world. So I think of treasures in terms of like suitcases full of gold or money. Money is the currency of value in this world today. So let's just say $50 million, euros or pounds. Whatever you like. I think pounds are still the most valuable. But anyhow, 50 million. If Gurudev just gave that to you and said, I like you, this is for you. Most people would be doing what people do when they win the lottery. You'd be dancing, crying, all sorts of ecstatic symptoms, material, not transcendental, symptoms would be manifesting on your body. Tears pouring from your eyes, your hair standing on end, falling at their feet. You're my best friend. I'm yours forever and ever. You always have a place in my home. In fact, I'll build you your own home. I love you. Thank you so much. You're my best friend ever. We would have this kind of appreciation. And then if he gave you 10 more treasures like that, and 100 more, and 1,000 more, and 1,000,000 more, we would have no way to repay such a person, hopelessly indebted. And we would feel within our heart, you are dearer to me than my own life. But there is nothing in this material world that can satisfy the Atma, the soul. He's giving us the only thing that the soul can be satisfied with. And that is worth more than trillions of treasures, or you cannot even count, Googles and Googles of treasures of this world. It is the awakening of Krishna Prem in the heart. The sweet pastimes of Krishna as seen directly by that Tattvadarshi. He's giving that to us. How can we ever repay such a person? We have no way to repay. The only thing we can do is give ourselves. That means our independence. I am yours. I am yours. Tabaivasmi, tabaivasmi. This must be practiced first at the lotus feet of Sri Guru as well. I am yours. Na jivami tvayavina iti vigyaya. And Radhe is there, but for Gurudev first. Nayamam charanantikam. And from there, then it will be transferred, transmitted to Srimati Radhika. I am yours. We won't have any currency to repay except for our own life. It means that when we begin to understand and appreciate what Guru is giving us, then we will have no choice. Our hearts will fall at his feet and we will feel incapable of repayment. There's no way I can repay you. I am yours. Then your love for Guru will develop. And he said from there, then very easily for Radha and Krishna. How do we realize what Gurudev has given? What he has given? By applying what he has given to us into our life. Making that firm endeavor. Otherwise we won't realize it. It's not possible. Like, oh yeah, he gave me mantra, he looked at me nice, he gave me some prasadam, he was really sweet, he said some kind words, and I heard a couple classes, I can't really remember what he said. But really endeavoring to apply what he has given, then his sidelong glance will come, and then something will manifest in the heart, some realization, some understanding. And the more that we are understanding, the more the feeling of indebtedness will come. Because the more you know about transcendental stuff, the more you will understand and know that you don't know. In other words, you will realize that, my God, what he has given is so great that I cannot begin to fathom it. And the more I'm learning about it, the more I realize I have no clue about the depth of what he's really given to me. And as we begin to apply ourselves on the path of devotion, what he has prescribed, as he has prescribed, Sri Guru, in this case our Srila Gurudev, then naturally and automatically, spontaneously, our hearts will have nowhere else to go. We just heard it from another devotee today. He said, I just fell at his feet and my heart was just saying, I am yours, I am yours, I am yours. And from there, when that mood becomes thick and strong, then very easily, he will take that and convert it, dovetail that, and engage that in the service of Shri Radha and Krishna. So I have not looked down properly, and let me see here if anyone has asked any questions. Oh my God, Hare Krishna. Jiva Pavana Prabhu shared something big. Oh, I'm just seeing that right now. Jiva Pavana Prabhu saying, I curled up like a little dog next to where he was sitting. And that just inspired me in terms of what kind of mood we should have. Sarvasva tomar charani sampiya porechi tomar ghare tumi to takur tomar kukur bolia jano homore. Everything is yours. I'm offering everything at your feet. You are my master and I am like your dog. This mood should come there in the heart of any disciple, that I will only do what is favorable for you, to please you. I will dance around you when I see you. I will bark very loudly if anything is opposed to you. If anything is favorable to you, I will be very friendly to it and welcome it. I will only take what you give me. That means food-wise, prasadam, association-wise. I will only do what is favorable to you. This kind of mood, Srila Gurudev said we should develop. Like a dog for its master. How loyal are they? This is what Gurudev wants from the disciple. I want loyalty. This is what Gurudev requires. What is loyalty? Loyalty doesn't mean to be like a prostitute running here and there, taking all kinds of currency from so many different personalities, meaning their moods, their conceptions, their ideals, their ideas. If it is not favorable for one's Guru Nishtha, then pranam from a distance, or as our Gurudev would say, pranam forever. The other day, Sudevi and I were listening to a lecture of our Gurudev, and he said, oh, we will offer pranam to them. And Shyamrani Didi said, I don't understand. Why will you offer pranam to those persons who are deviating from the path of Rupanuga Bhakti? He said, you don't understand what I'm saying. I mean pranam forever. It's like, okay, you're chanting, you're doing this, pranam forever. Out of sight, out of mind. That's what he means. What is not favorable, I will keep it at a very far distance. And then, of course, our Gurudev was in Italy, I believe. And he was at the beach on a morning walk, and he was sitting there, and he saw one dog. Every day, that same dog was there. And everyone that would drive up, the dog would run to the car and look. Searching this way and that way. And he would go to the next, and he would look, and then he would be disappointed every day. And Gurudev saw that dog, and he began speaking. That dog is faithful to his master. Even though his master has abandoned him, he's only waiting for his master. When will my master come and pick me up? And then Gurudev immediately started remembering the gopis and Krishna. This is his speciality. It didn't matter what it was. An abandoned dog at the beach reminded him of the gopis in Vrindavan when Krishna left them. And he began to weep profusely, remembering this, how they're only longingly looking in the direction for Krishna, waiting for Krishna to return. When will he return? When will he return? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? He carried that mood in his heart. He chanted with that mood. He represented it around the world. And he gave it to everyone else. That we should weep for Krishna and always pray. When we are chanting, there should be mood with it. It should not just be an empty ritual like Sudevi said yesterday. We're not in the path of empty rituals. She said, Gurudev said, everything our Goswamis have given us is for a reason. And we should search for that. What is the deep reason behind everything that we are doing on the path of bhakti? That is our sadhana. That is our search. Why am I doing this? What is the purpose? How should I do it? When I was little, I was chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Or they made us chant all together as a group, a bunch of the children, to keep our minds kind of focused. We'd have to chant in a very interesting tune, which I'm not going to repeat right now. And then I was thinking, okay, so we're supposed to just hear the sound of the mantra, but what are we supposed to think about? I guess don't think about anything. So I would just think about blank white wall or blank black. Blank, nothing. What's the result of thinking of nothing while chanting the holy names of Krishna? Krishna says, I reciprocate accordingly. If you're thinking of nothing, then nothing will be the result. Shunyavad or ekavad, either way, it's nothing. It's all one or it's all nothing. It's nothing. Our Gurudev would always say, chant and remember the sweet pastimes of Krishna. What we have heard from Gurudev, what we have heard from the Vaishnavas, what we have heard from Śrīmad Bhagavatam, from the Shastras, the sweet pastimes of Krishna. Chant and remember those sweet pastimes of Krishna. Then we would be following something of Krishna's instructions. Mammana bhavamat bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te prachijane priyosime. Always absorb your mind constantly in thinking about me. How do you do that if you don't know about his pastimes? Gurudev told us the pastimes of Krishna. He's not telling us things that are too intimate, that we're not qualified to think about yet. I never heard him tell anything like that. We should think about something about Krishna. Not just about our anarthas, oh poor me, or about others' anarthas, oh poor them, or that I'm not this body, I'm not this body. That's not the mantra we've been given. Or vegetarian or vegan, or this pandemic or not pandemic or whatever. That's not our mantra. Our mantra is Yugal mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the transcendental meeting and separation pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And if we're following our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, then while we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we will endeavor to also remember the sweet pastimes of Krishna. Oh my God, there's so many comments. If you remember the sweet pastimes of Krishna while chanting, then what will be the result? More sweet pastimes of Krishna will manifest. And eventually, Sva Rasiki Upasana. In the beginning, it's Mantramayi Upasana. You're remembering that pastime as you've heard it from your Gurudev or read it in Bhagavatam Shastra. So then you remember it like that. It is that same way every time. As you are absorbing your mind and thinking about Krishna while chanting Krishna's holy names, engaging every moment of the day in trying to please Gurudev and please Krishna, then gradually those pastimes will start to manifest spontaneously. And that will be Sva Rasiki Upasana. It means you won't even have to endeavor to think about them. It will be quite the opposite. A waterfall doesn't have to think about falling over the edge of the rocks. A waterfall just flows. It goes toward its source. It's continuous. You won't have to try to make it happen. The pastimes of Krishna will flow spontaneously into your heart. That is known as Sva Rasiki Upasana. Okay. Wow. I don't see all the comments. It's too much for me to absorb right now, but I see that there's a lot of reflection, and I really appreciate that. For me, that's a good sign, because what Gurudev shared with us, he put so much into his disciples. He really made a strong endeavor to impress these tattvas and these ideas, not just the tattva, but the conceptions of our Rupanuga Guru Varga into our hearts in such a way that we should all be able to represent them. When Sudevi's mother first came, Manorama, when she first came to Srila Gurudev, she noticed something quite amazing. We were in New Braj in Badger, California, and it was class time. Gurudev was giving Harikatha, and normally you see children playing football outside or swimming or doing anything else. All the children were there, and what were they doing? They were taking notes on Gurudev's classes. I'm talking about 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's not like they were being forced to do so either. They were taking notes and trying to listen. Gurudev had this effect. And he was telling so many amazing, beautiful things. Secret truths of the Bhagavatam. And sometimes, even as we're going through Damodarāṣṭakam or through the bhajans, I'll say something and I'll be like, where did that come from? And I'll ask Sudevi, and she'll be like, I just heard it on the class yesterday. We were in New Braj in 1997. I'd be like, wow. He put that inside. Somehow he's planting seeds inside. Where does it come from? I'm not making any of it up. Something he plants inside. He did this to all of his disciples. And even if we don't feel that we are disciples, because what is a real disciple? We know. Still, he said to me personally, I said, what is the benefit of anyone hearing what I have to say? You told us that we should chant about Krishna, speak about Krishna, but my heart is full of so many anarthas. What benefit will anyone else get by hearing what I have to say? He said, oh, some Shakti will be there because you are under guidance. I want to sing the next bhajan, so just remind me of what I just said. Some Shakti will be there because you are under guidance. E baro kuruna karo Vaishnava Goshai. Page 44 by Śrīla Narotam Das Thakur. E baro kuruna karo Vaishnava Goshai. E baro Vaishnava Goshai. Patita pavana toma bine ke hona. Patita pavana toma bine ke hona. Kaharo nikote gere papo dure jai. Kaharo nikote gere papo dure jai. দয়ালু প্রভু কে বা কোথা পাই এই মন দয়ালু প্রভু কে বা কোথা পাই গঙ্গার পরশ হইলে পশ্চাতে পাব গঙ্গার পরশ হইলে পশ্চাতে পাব দর্শনে পবিত্র করো এ তোমারো দর্শনে পবিত্র করো এ তোমারো হরি স্থানে অপরাধে তারে হরি স্থানে অপরাধে তারে হরি তোমা স্থানে অপরাধে নাহি কোয়েরা তোমা স্থানে অপরাধে নাহি কোয়েরা তোমারো হৃদয়ে সদা গোবিন্দ বিশ্রাম তোমারো হৃদয়ে সদা গোবিন্দ বিশ্রাম গোবিন্দ কোহে নম বৈষ্ণব গোবিন্দ কোহে নম বৈষ্ণব প্রতি জন্মে করি আশা চরণের ধূলি প্রতি জন্মে করি আশা চরণের ধূলি নরোত্তমে করো দয়া আপনারো বলি নরোত্তমে করো দয়া আপনারো বলি এবার করুণা করো বৈষ্ণব বৈষ্ণব গোসাই পতিত পাবন তোমার বিনে কেহ নাই পতিত পাবন তোমার বিনে কেহ বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব karo Prabhu, kripa karo more doya karo. Prabhu kripa karo more doya karo. Prabhu kripa karo more doya karo. Vaishnava Thakur ki jai, Shri Gurudev ki jai. So, I mentioned previously what Gurudev said, some Shakti will be there because you are under guidance. And as I said that, I remembered an interaction with Srila Gurudev, one of my very first. When we came to Vrindavan for the first Parikrama in 1996. Srila Gurudev, we first went to Mathura, and there at Sri Keshavji Gauri Math, that's where he started the Parikramas, from Vishram Ghat, where Krishna went to rest after killing King Kamsa. But it wasn't really to rest. He went to that place, to Jamuna, to connect to the gopis who were here in Vrindavan. And through the medium of Jamuna, like a transcendental messenger, that connection took place. Normally, when Krishna would kill demons in Vrindavan, he was seen as the hero. And all of the gopis would be like, wow, so wonderful, so beautiful. And he would feel so, well, Krishna about it. He is the supreme enjoyer after all. He was the hero. And all of the gopis would appreciate when he would kill any demons, when he was dancing on the heads of Kaliya. How beautiful. Oh, we also want to dance with him. But this time he went to Mathura. He killed Chanura, Mushtika. He killed Kuvalayapida. And that, what is it? Dhobi, clothes washer of King Kamsa, with one hand, like this. They heard that he had done so, but they did not receive the opportunity to shower their admiration upon him. And he also was feeling this deep separation. Oh, my gopis, they're not here to shower their admiration upon me. Look what I have done. I've killed this evil demon Kamsa. So he went to Vishram Ghat and they went to Jamuna here. And all of the moods in their heart that they wanted to share with Krishna, and all of his moods that he wanted to share with them, were experienced by the medium of Jamuna. So we were there in Sri Keshavji Gauri Math with our Gurudev. This is where we began our parikrama from. We went to all the different places in Mathura Mandal, and then after that we came to Vrindavan, and then Govardhan. And that first year, actually, we stayed in many different locations. We stayed in Deeg for a night. We stayed in Nandagaon for a couple nights. We stayed in Barshana. We stayed in Vrindavan, at Govardhan, and at Mathura. So we were moving a lot. But there weren't so many devotees from the West at that time. It was a bit rough. Everyone in a big room with mosquito nets. But anyhow, Gurudev was there giving Harikatha, and it was lovely. So one of the first things Srila Gurudev told me in 1996, I was there playing the keyboard, and he said to me, you should always sit right in front so that I can use you for kirtan whenever I like. And that instruction has taken many years to mature to a point of a particular level of understanding that I have now, and I know that it will develop more and more into the future, because anything that the pure devotee says is not stagnant. It is always dynamic. It is always evolving and increasing, because it is, in essence, the words of Krishna manifesting through the mouth of Guru. Whatever Krishna wants to tell you, Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj said, he tells you through the mouth of Sri Guru. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya. That is what it means. Krishna is speaking through the Vaya medium. Guru is the Vaya medium for Krishna. So he said, you should always sit right in front with any, so that I can use you for kirtan whenever I like. And only recently it came to me what that meant. Somebody recently suggested that we shouldn't tell about our personal experiences with Gurudev. We should just tell his teachings in essence. But through every interaction, he is also giving so many teachings. In fact, you can illustrate those tattvas through the teachings. And if you look in all of our shastras, that's what it is about. It's all stories of relationship and teachings given by so many personalities through the medium of their interactions and relationships. So, Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja said that to me. You should always sit in front with any, so that I can use you for kirtan whenever I like. What does that mean? That means that that person who is coming to Gurudev, and I'm not speaking about me, but in the role of a disciple, should become, in essence, an instrument or a tool for Gurudev to do what he wants to or needs to do. I believe there's a prayer like this: please use me as your instrument. Srila Prabhupada prayed, I'm simply your puppet, make me dance as you like. And Gurudev is saying the same thing, like Sudevi showed yesterday with the flower example. She put that flower in her hand. Our Gurudev did this. He told that one devotee, I want you to be like this. And he started moving his hand like up and down and all around, that I can do whatever I like with you. I can place you wherever I like. Sit here so that I can use you for kirtan whenever I like. In other words, he wanted to do something. And I should be ready to be engaged in whatever service that he is ready to utilize me for. This means that I should be empty of my own selfish desire. And I should be a willing participant in the desire of Gurudev. How Gurudev wants to place me, wherever he wants to do, however he wants to do, whatever he wants to do with me, that I should be a willing, voluntary participant. I am yours, do with me as you like, place me as you like, use me as you like. I remember sometimes Gurudev would have certain persons speak, and we would be thinking, why is he having them speak? They're not qualified to speak this, and I'm not qualified to do kirtan. Gurudev knows that. I know that. What is kirtan? The first thing that Gurudev told me when he came to America is kirtan is transcendental sound vibration descending from Goloka Vrindavan into your heart. After you receive Harinam, your kirtan will become potent. Well, I'm still waiting to receive Harinam. Receiving Harinam means really receiving Krishna, realizing my relationship in service to Krishna. So yes, real kirtan is not a cheap thing. Real kirtan is actual service to Krishna. So Srila Gurudev said, so I can use you for this purpose. In other words, through so many, he was speaking. Maybe they weren't qualified, but he was utilizing them for whatever he was doing. And he was utilizing us for whatever he wanted to do. And as aspiring disciples, and I'm using this term very carefully, aspiring, because a disciple is not a cheap thing. There's something called Sat Shishya, and that means that their heart, their mind, their body, their words, their soul, their everything is thoroughly mixed with the moods of their Gurudev. This is Sat Shishya. And everything up until that point would have to really be some aspiration. But the aspiring disciple should endeavor to become an instrument for the purpose of Gurudev. that I am here for your service. And through that medium, this awakening of Kinkar or Kinkari, Das, that I am your servant, I am here for you, I am not getting paid for it, and I will endeavor to do whatever I can to please you, in front of you, and when I'm not physically in front of you. This Kinkar or Kinkari Bhav will be trained properly within us. When he sees you are qualified, then he will give you up into the next level. Like Sudevi told yesterday, he took that magnolia, that beautiful land lotus, and said, I will make your heart so qualified, beautiful, sweet and pure, and I will offer it at the feet of my beloved. And he placed that at the feet of his Gurudev, Bhaktivedānta Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja, who will do the same thing and place it at the feet of his Gurudev. And they will basically refine you and bring you into the service of Śrī Radha and Krishna. But we have to be willing to be utilized as an instrument. And that instruction was not just for music or singing. If one is ready and willing to be utilized, then Gurudev can take you like a chess piece and place you wherever he wants. And a disciple should be not only ready and willing, but happy to be utilized like this. And Srila Gurudev showed that by speaking about the glories and character of his Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja. What kind of love and affection, what kind of admiration did our Gurudev have for his Gurudev? One time the devotees were all sitting around Gurudev looking at him with googly eyes, just admiring him, and Gurudev started laughing and he said, I know what you're all thinking. You're thinking that your Gurudev is so beautiful. And they were like, yes, yes. And he said, you can only think like that because you have not seen how beautiful is my Gurudev. So he also has this mood for his Gurudev. Complete admiration, love and affection, and surrendered mood. But he would glorify his Gurudev in such a way how there was no service that his Gurudev would not do for Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Our Srila Gurudev would glorify his Gurudev like this. How his Gurudev was willing to give his own life for the service of his Guru. How he would do anything. How he moved the Samadhi Mandir of Srila Gaura Babaji Maharaj from a place where it was going to be washed away by the Ganga to a safe location. How he acquired property, land and temples and everything for the service of his Gurudev. He was like Hanuman. In every seva he was able to do for his Gurudev. There was nothing that he would not do. And his Gurudev recognized, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada recognized that intensity of service, that he was ready and willing and able to do anything and everything for the service of his Guru. And by that, everything manifests in the heart. Gurudev gives instructions to each and every one of us. And each and every one of us in those instructions are also infused with the potency to follow those instructions. We should not think that, oh, he gave the instruction, but no, the instruction also gives potency. Even the impossible can become possible. Yesterday, devotees from South Africa were sharing their remembrances of the time when we were there on the order of Gurudev to preach on his behalf before he went to South Africa. And we didn't really think about it. It was a little crazy what we did, actually. A small group of us, it was Sudevi and myself, Damodar Maharaj, Nandini, Krishna Prema, and Savitri. And then some others came afterward, and of course the local devotees there. But a small group of us went there, and we really didn't know exactly what we were doing or what we were going to do. But Gurudev had a desire to go to South Africa and preach there. And I'm very aware that whatever happened, he inspired it and made it happen. Every half hour on the radio, advertisements were going out for his programs. There were posters all over town and pamphlets all over town posters, big ones. In fact, we have one in the room next door. Just there. A poster from that time. And little pamphlets with his picture advertising his programs. Pamphlets were made and put on every seat in a 500 seated hall auditorium. And also there was television? There were radio interviews, some television thing. There were advertisements in the newspapers. There was a whole thing that was going on. And certain persons were sent. There was Dave. Where did Dave come from? He saw us making a hard endeavor and he was inspired to help. He arranged for the kitchen. He arranged for the hall. He arranged for the sound system. Free of charge, just to serve. Here. Can you see it? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Can you see it? So this was one of the posters that was all over town in South Africa that we had made. Okay. Big, beautiful festivals were made.
They actually gave that free because Nandini was very persistent.
And Nandini would not stop. My God, she was like pure energy. And the radio host was like, okay, we'll put it on every half hour. Who is Nandini? She was the new girl.
He came and he brought his family to the kirtan because we didn't have anyone.
Nandini was so new, and somehow she got swept up in seva and loved every moment of it. She was constantly serving. And although so much difficulty was coming to us from all sides, still it was like miracles were taking place around us. We were like, we're in a foreign country doing all of this stuff. We didn't even realize that we were going through dangerous places in the middle of the night, staying in houses with like dogs that were pooping everywhere, and it was... The police came over to Sudevi and Nandini. They were distributing pamphlets at a beach in Durban, was it? Yes. And the police came over to them and said, you can't be here. And they said, where can we go? And they said, well, down that way. They said, but no one's there. And the police said, exactly. They said, it's not safe for you here. In one moment, you could disappear and be gone forever. It was so unsafe. You'll be dead or worse, he said. The police told that to Sudevi and Nandini. You'll be dead or worse in a moment. You can't be here. Yeah, we were just begging everyone, please come and hear from this beautiful sadhu. The point I'm making is somehow he inspired within us to be an instrument. Then he made everything possible. All sorts of miracles took place. And then when he came, the hall was packed with 500 new people. And he was just like, wow. Gurudev said, he said, to date, this is the most successful programs in all of his preaching. Yeah, people were doing black magic against, there was a lot of stuff going on. So much so that Gurudev at one point, we had written a letter explaining to Gurudev what's going on. He said, I'm so sorry that you're undergoing so much difficulty on my behalf. And then we felt really bad that we will never bring any difficulty to Gurudev again like this. That we will just continue doing our seva and not complain to him. It's not befitting of any servant or disciple to do such a thing to their master. The disciple should accept whatever is coming and continue moving forward. So Nandini was the new girl. She was really new. And we were so amazed how in such a short time she was injected into one of the most intense sevas. And then somehow in the last months of Gurudev's manifest presence in this world, she was also as the private personal secretary of Tamopaha Prabhu, and she was serving Gurudev in so many ways in those last months. She had just come within a year or two, and there she was. She came to Gurudev in Italy 2010 and immediately into the most intense fire of seva, and then she received the opportunity to serve Gurudev during those last months, and even as she was there in Puri helping and assisting, cooking for all of those Vaishnavas who were serving Gurudev. So it was just amazing to see how Gurudev orchestrated everything. Those who are, I just want to come back to that point. You should be ready so that I can use you whenever I like. This is not just an instruction for me. This is an instruction for every single disciple or aspiring disciple. Gurudev, how can I serve you? What can I do for you? And what does he say? Finally, ultimately, be merciful to me and become happy. How? Chant your Harinam. Every year he would come. Why am I coming again and again and again? I am coming to remind you. He would say to remember you, to chant your Harinam, to chant your mantras, to follow this path of bhakti. By this you will be happy. I'm coming to remind you, don't be weak. You should be strong. Don't be hopeless. Again and again and again. Endeavoring to awaken and increase within our heart these moods of loving service to Guru, Gauranga, Radha and Krishna. The Gurudev was able to accomplish miracles through any hand of his. And we, as aspiring disciples, should endeavor to come to that point where let me be a hand of my Gurudev. He wants to do something. He wants to utilize me for this or that or whatever he likes. Let me be that for him. I don't have the capacity. I don't have the qualification. I didn't know anything about layout or publishing. And suddenly it was all coming in. If one desires to serve and to please, then all ability can be manifested to them. No amount of material education can give one the qualification for serving Krishna. But the intense, greedy desire to serve will give all transcendental ability. Transcendental ability. It's not that our Gurudev didn't appreciate those who came with material qualifications. Immediately he would utilize that in the service of Krishna. But really it is sincerity of heart. If anyone is truly sincere, they will, as Krishna says, I am remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So Krishna can manifest all transcendental knowledge. Guru can manifest all knowledge into the heart of any disciple who is sincere to serve, who is sincere to please. Everything can be manifested in a moment, as Baladev did to Sutta Goswami. One moment. All transcendental knowledge, tattva siddhant, everything was manifested in his heart in a moment. If one is endeavoring to surrender at the lotus feet of Sri Guru, then anything is possible. What's the time? Oh my gosh. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More. Let me see, are there any questions? Did I miss any questions? Yes, I like that. Shamrani Didi taught. No single paintbrush stroke is to come without sincere prayer. Have you seen Shamrani Didi's earlier paintings? When she was just practically a baby, she was a young girl, 17, 18, when she came to Prabhupada. And look how beautiful and refined her paintings have become under the direct guidance of Sri Guru, of Srila Prabhupada, of our Srila Gurudev. All of that ability. Not only that, she's publishing, she's transcribing, she's publishing the Harikatha, she's giving Harikatha, she's doing so much. From the humble beginnings, she told us that she wanted to go tell Prabhupada what was up. She wanted to tell him, teach him something. And she went with an intent like that, and then he spoke truth. The gurutva came through, the heaviness, and she had to sit there. She had a plan, and the plan was reversed by Krishna. Question: why does Krishna hesitate to give us spurti? The question is, why do we hesitate to make any endeavor to really please and serve Krishna? We have been bound in this material world since time without beginning, but He's been waiting for us. We are endeavoring to only try to please ourselves and our senses. Bhagavad Gita tells that there are two birds sitting in a tree. One is Krishna, one is me. I am always in distress, trying to find happiness. He is waiting day by day for me to turn and look His way. He's waiting for us patiently since forever, not forcing us, waiting. And we're just busy trying to taste the fruits of this material world, all kinds of material enjoyment, and not looking at Him. But the moment we show some interest, He will take hundreds of steps toward us. So we shouldn't expect Him to do everything. Like Gurudev said, my mercy is flowing, but you have to drink. There's some responsibility on our part also. The mercy of Krishna is necessary. That is called kripa. And our hard endeavor is also necessary. That is called, you know what it's called? Whoever puts that down, see if you remember. Ladus. So, it's not called ladus, you will get ladus. Our hard endeavor is also necessary, both together, and where those two meet, that is perfection, connection. So if we want to attain the spurti of, or the darshan of Krishna, then there's something that we should do that should attract Him to give that darshan. First is Ado Guru Parashray. Surrender at the feet of Shri Guru. Serve Gurudev. Pranipat. Pariprashna. Ask relevant questions and then endeavor to follow those instructions. Exactly. Without hesitation, deliberation, addition, subtraction, twisting, or anything like that. As it is. Put our full energy, our full heart into that. And when Gurudev sees, oh, you are sincere, then he will give you an installment of bhakti sukriti, by which more sincerity will manifest. And then another installment and another installment. If we're really truly sincere and actually truly surrender, then by the mercy of Gurudev, Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoite. Guru will make Krishna appear in your heart. That is what Guru does. Guru cleans it out, makes it a beautiful kunja, prepares it, and then requests Radha and Krishna, you come and play here. Look at the beautiful kunja I have made for you. There's a responsibility on our part, Gurudev said. Don't throw more garbage, more broken glass, all sorts of dirty, filthy sewage and all things in there. Let him do his work. He's endeavoring to clean our hearts. We should help him, or at least not go against what he's doing. If we don't have enough energy to help him clean it, at least we should not make it more difficult for him to clean it. And just so you know, I'm speaking to myself. If any of you take any value from this, then great. Srila Gurudev was speaking this. Gurudev is doing that cleaning in the heart. By the power of the prem, by the power of the love, by the power of the harikatha that he is giving. Nashtaprayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya. By serving the Mahabhagavat and serving Śrīmad Bhagavatam, meaning hearing Krishna Katha, then almost all nashta prayeshva, nashta, all of the misgivings and anarthas and everything become destroyed by that process. And then Krishna will give you darshan of his names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. Thank you, Cheshta. Very, very good. So when Mahaprabhu was asked this question, which one do we take? The logic of the cat, the kitten, or the logic of the monkey? The cat carries its kitten, And the kitten is completely at the mercy of the cat, mother cat. She picks him up and moves him from place to place. The baby monkey, however, has to hold on with all fours to his mother, either riding on her back or riding underneath, as she's moving from tree to tree, building to building. He's got to hold on. So they asked Mahaprabhu, which one do we accept? And he said, both. The mercy of Krishna and our hard endeavor. Both are necessary. And we have seen that in Damodar Leela. Mother Yashoda is making that hard endeavor to bind Krishna, and Krishna's mercy also meets her hard endeavor. And at that point, perfection takes place, meaning she's able to bind him with the ropes of her love and affection. So now we will sing Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Koromore. I think the time is getting late. That is page 96, and that we will also sing Hare Krishna with it. 96 in our songbook. It's not a songbook, actually. It's a treasure trove of the bhajan of our Guru Varga. It is their moods of love and affection, surrender, their moods of calling out. That is their bhajan. And all together, the bhajan of Narottam Das Thakur, the bhajan of Bhaktivedānta Thakur, the bhajan of Lochan Das Thakur, the bhajan of so many, Madhav Das, the bhajan, all of their bhajan put in these treasure chests that look like books. It's unprecedented. And the opportunities that we have today are also unprecedented. What we have been given by our Gurudev and by our Guru Varga, we cannot even begin to count our blessings. 108 million human lifetimes since the last time this opportunity came along. And trust me, it has been other than human lifetimes. Millions and millions and trillions of different kinds of lifetimes. But anyhow, 108 million 80-year human lifetimes since we received this possibility before on this earth planet. We should definitely take advantage of what we are being given, what we have been given. To miss this boat, to miss this opportunity would be like self-damnation. Sa atmaha nridehamadhyam sulabam sudurlabam plavam sukalpam gurukarnadaram mayanukulyena nabhasvataritam puman bhavabdhim nataret sa atmaha. This is like suicide of the soul. Due to my own fault, I have been left behind, although all others are crossing over on this boat of Harinam. They're crossing over the entire material ocean to perfection. But due to my own fault, I've been left behind, although everything has come to shower me with the opportunity to attain perfection here and now. The key to success is to seize the opportunity. What has come before us now? Grab it. Don't let go. It's the train to Krishna. It is amazing. And that is, each compartment is like another member of our Guru Varga. They are giving us such an amazing opportunity. We don't know when we will have this opportunity again, but we do have it now, and we know we do. So we should take advantage at every moment. Call out to these great personalities on this path. Swarupam, Shri Rupam, Sahaganam, Tasyagrajamapi. When we are being attacked by all of these different material difficulties, call out very loudly to the great heroes on the path of devotion, our 6 Goswamis, our Gurudev, our Guru Varga. Call out their names and say loudly, Jai. May you be victorious over this stupid material mind. May you be victorious over all of these stupid material desires. May you be victorious over all of my unwillingness. May you come and sit on the throne of my heart and take over and direct me accordingly. And may I follow your order without hesitation. Calling loudly to them, praying to them. They are not, like Sudevi said, some memorial thing of the past. They are transcendental, living personalities. Aprakat. They are maybe not physically manifest before our vision, but they are still there. Gurudev is still there. If one is sincere and one is calling out for mercy and praying to him, he can and will hear your prayers, and he will help our prayers, and he will help. And if he's not coming personally, he will send anyone to help. Oh my God. So, sorry. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Toya Koro Toma bina te doyalu jagata samsare Toma bina te doyalu jagata samsare Patita Sammato Ita Prabhu na paibe aro O Sammato Ita Prabhu na paibe aro Taha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Bolo Karo Karo Yami Boro Dukhi Kripa Bolo Karo Karo Yami Boro Koro Sitapati Advaita Gosha দয়া করো শ্রীপাপরি অদ্বৈত গোসাই তব কৃপা হলে পাই চৈতন্য নিতাই তব কৃপা হলে পাই চৈতন্য নিতাই আহা স্বরূপ সনাতন রূপ রঘুনাথ আহা স্বরূপ সনাতন রূপ রঘুনাথ ভক্ত যুগ শ্রীজীব প্রভু লোকনাথ ভক্ত যুগ শ্রীজীব প্রভু লোকনাথ দয়া করো শ্রীয়াচার্য প্রভু শ্রীনিবাস দয়া করো শ্রীয়াচার্য প্রভু শ্রীনিবাস রামচন্দ্র সঙ্গ মাগে নরোত্তম দাস রামচন্দ্র সঙ্গ মাগে নরোত্তম দাস দয়া করো প্রভু পাদ শ্রীদয়িত দাস দয়া করো প্রভু পাদ শ্রীদয়িত দাস বৈষ্ণবের কৃপা মাগে এ অধম দাস বৈষ্ণবের কৃপা মাগে এ অধম দাস দয়া করো গুরুদেব পতিত পাবন দয়া করো গুরুদেব পতিত পাবন শ্রীচরণে সেবা মাগে এ পতিত জন শ্রীচরণে সেবা মাগে এ পতিত জন হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Shri Shinitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauri Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinu Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinama Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Where's Sudevi? Oh.
I thought you were going to speak tonight. I'm sorry. Okay.
Let's turn that off. There we go. Govinda Dāmodarāṣṭakam. Govinda Dāmodarāṣṭakam. Govinda Bolo Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Shri Bihari Ji ki Jai, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Shyam Gaura Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
So thank you all very much for being with us today and giving us the opportunity to reflect upon, remember, and share the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga. Also, we would like to express our indebtedness to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to follow the order of our Gurudev, which is our life and soul. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Radhe
Radhe
Radhe.
Radhe. Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki
Jai.
Jai. Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki
Jai.
Jai.